I finally cracked the code on how to become a millionaire. And in today's video, I'm going to share all my secrets with you and exactly how I am a modern day millionaire or well over $1 million in net worth. When you think of all the millionaires in the world, there are a lot of habits, principles, and really behaviors that they do share to become a millionaire. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in this video and how I apply these principles to become a millionaire myself. Now, of course, a lot of you know that I am a financial counselor. That means that I do offer a lot of my advice that I offer on YouTube, that I offer in my real life career. And of course, the education aspect, financial literacy, that is missing from the schools is why I started this YouTube channel. So let's get into this. So staying away from debt. This is one of the absolute most important things. When you think about our culture, big picture, a lot of people take a lot of risks to become wealthy, but a lot of people that take out business loans, that open up lines of credit, that do home equities, are just borrowing money and getting into debt without the ability or a plan to repay it. It is really can wreck your financial dreams very fast. And of course, looking at what we're dealing with today, we are seeing a lot of debt consolidation, meaning that people have gotten the point where credit cards are getting out of hand, where debt is getting out of hand, and now they're trying to build a better future for themselves. And of course, staying away from debt gives you the ability to invest money. When you think of individuals that are millionaires, a lot of them do not take out any money, do not borrow at all. Survey said that 9 out of 10 millionaires do not take any money out or do not carry credit card balances their entire life. That is right. They might have credit cards. They might get rewards from those cards, but they are not carrying balances. They are not carrying and paying interest to financial institutions. When I start looking at this, and again, kind of the personal aptitude to me is we had cars. I took out my car loan for 5 years. We paid it off in about 12 to 15 months. It was paid off. My wife did the same when we purchased her vehicle, and we buy used vehicles, making it a lot cheaper. When it comes to credit card debt, we are at zero. We carry no credit card debt. Every single bill that we have in our entirety is paid off every single month. So we carry no debt at all. Both of our cars are paid off in full. And of course, we do maintain them, which can come with a price tag, but ultimately we don't have a payment. So when I think big picture at my financial well-being and of course becoming a millionaire, we have the only liability we have is the house, which means we are pretty good when it comes to the bill wise. We're not paying credit card balances. We're not paying interest on loans. We're not paying interest on cars. The monthly cash flow that we have is incredible because we don't have a lot of those bills that a majority of people do carry. Now, thinking of our second one, investing early and consistently. Now, this, of course, is the compounding interest. If you followed my channel for a little while, we're about $110,000 into our investment portfolio, and that is just the brokerage account. We're not including 401k accounts that we have. We're not counting HSA accounts. We're not counting anything else that we have, the stock options that we have, even looking at the MESP programs that we have for our kids, life insurance, which is whole life. I know that's a whole nother discussion. But overall, when you think of investing early and consistently, this really gives us the power to where if you're paying, let's say $300, $600, $700 a month for a car payment, that is not only paying for the car that you have, but you are also taking a big chunk of that and you are paying it away in interest. You are literally giving money to the bank and you are paying them for letting you borrow money instead of you just buying a cheaper car, which a lot of people can do and they just choose not to, but ultimately having more to invest. If you start putting away $300 a month at age 25, rounded 11% return, that's right, you'll be a millionaire by age 57. Now this, of course, is the compounding interest. $300 a month for an extended amount of time. You can have, especially when you get to retirement at the age of 67, putting $300 a month away can leave you $3.2 million, which is kind of crazy to think that you can have that kind of money just by putting money away and saving money for a considerable amount of time. Now, of course, when it comes to saving money, we have really expedited this. We put a ton of money away and we invest early. I actually put 15% into my 401k. My wife puts 23% into the 401k. And then we have the brokerage account where we put everything else after we max out the HSAs and we make contributions to the MESP program, the college programs for our kids that we, minus the mortgage, are putting away a ton of money every single paycheck, which is going to compound over time. Now, to focus on this, making savings a priority. Majority of people do not save at all. When you look at paycheck to paycheck, Even looking at individuals that are earning over $100,000 a year, 49% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. That is it. It is literally paycheck to paycheck. Now, that of course takes away a lot of really power that you have, a lot of flexibility to do what you want with your money, because again, when you start making a roadmap, when you look at all of your debt, when you look at the amount that you're paying in interest, it is massive. So many people are living far outside of their means, meaning that let's say in an average month you make $5,000. Of that, you're spending $6,000 a month. You are literally bleeding cash flow wise, meaning that you're $1,000 upside down every single month, and you're supplementing it with credit card debt. You're doing personal loans. People are doing home equities. It's kind of crazy. Now, the median household income in America is around $68,000. So let's say you're investing 15% of that. Now, for me, I have been investing 15% into my 401k for the last 10 years that I'm employed with my financial institution. So we have seen 10 years of growth at the 15% investment that we're putting, which of course works out to about $10,000 a year on 68K. Over a 30-year period, that would turn it into $2.3 million in there, which means that doesn't include an employer match. That doesn't include contributions. That is only staying at that 68K. So if you're a little bit below that, of course, the number is going to be a little bit lower. But if you're above that, the number is going to be much higher because, of course, you are going to have the scale of the compounding interest. So for instance, let's say instead of 68,000 that you're making a year, let's say you get up, and you're making 100,000 a year, 15% now, instead of that 10,000 you're putting in, you're putting 15,000. The compounding effect is just going to exponentially over an extended amount of time really build that up. Now, over 70% of millionaires, that is right, a big majority of millionaires save more than 10% of their income through their working year, which is the reason why they are millionaires. Now, of course, this comes when you get a raise, when you get a pay raise, when you get a side hustle, any way that you can boost your income. And this is imperative. You don't need a huge salary to be a millionaire, but when you get pay raises, it is really imperative that a portion of that pay raise is put away. Whether it is debt repayment, whether it is putting more into your 401k, putting more money into an HSA account. When you get a raise and when you start, let's say, a new job, you get a promotion, you get a raise, you have access to more money. You have access to have the power and the ability that you didn't possess before to pay off your debt, to eliminate all of your debt, eliminate your credit card, giving you the ability to invest a lot more. Now, of course, when you look at virtually all millionaires, 97% of them said they completely control their own destiny. And there was a point in my life where I never thought it possible, but over the last couple of years, doing the financial education piece and seeing and working with a ton of different individuals, I have seen where a lot of people really go wrong. And a lot of it comes with unnecessary expenses. When you start thinking about this, if you truly want to be a millionaire, and of course, you have to know the purpose why you want to be a millionaire. This could be, again, to live a lot more of a free life. This could be buying more time, spending more time with your family. But of course, when you look at cutting unnecessary expenses, you can do this in so many different ways. We've talked about this before, and it is one of the biggest things when it comes to the financial counseling that I really look at. Now, during my master's program, I do have a master's in strategic leadership, but during my master's program, I took a finance course. The finance course had us bring in monthly statements. Now, you want to talk about an eye-opening experience. We brought in 3 months of statements. We took the statements, we broke them into spreadsheets, we broke them into different buckets, utilized a lot of the data that we went. Then we looked and said, where can you find things cheaper? Where can you save money? Where can you cut bills? And again, for a majority of people, and I'm sure everyone in my class remembers this, it was an eye-opening experience. When I came home, my wife and I had a really good conversation, and we looked at some things, including insurance. When you think of insurance, insurance is very, very competitive. When you look at car insurance, when you look at homeowners insurance, when you look at renters insurance, make sure that you're comparing your policies through everyone and seeing where you can save the most amount of money. Now, when it comes to cable, this is one that we cut the cord. We cut the cord, I believe it's been like 5 or 6 years now, but through Comcast, we are paying $189 a month for cable. We very rarely ever watched cable, even having kids after we cut the cord. Not really watching a lot of TV at all, but we are saving $189 a month. And even when I think of the scenario of saving $300 a month, that 189 just comes straight from cable. So if I took that money, put it into an investment account for an extended amount of time, I have a very, very big, fully funded emergency fund, $189 for debt repayment on a lot of other things. And then, of course, if you're just straight investing $189 every single month, that is really, really big. Now, when it comes to gifts, this is another one where the high pressure, social pressure to spend a lot of money around holidays, guys, holidays need to be budgeted for. If you say, okay, I have to buy for 5 individuals, I'm saving $1,000 each one of them, I'm going to spend $200 each. You have to set a budget. You have to set money aside for things in your life. I'm not saying don't buy gifts, don't go to restaurants, don't go to movies, don't do anything. Beans and rice, like Dave Ramsey says. Not at all. That is not the case, guys. Regardless of what you want to do and what you love to do, if you love to go to the movies, if you love to travel, regardless of what you like to do, especially if you're making a budget, a spending plan, whatever you want to call it, if it is in there and it works in the budget, then absolutely you can do that. If you want to go to the movies twice a week because you love to see movies in the big theater, go ahead and do it all that you want as long as it works in the budget. Now, of course, when it comes to restaurant, this is a really big part where people can cut out expenses. Even looking today, restaurant costs are up 20 to 30% across the board. Then you add a tip on top of that. You are spending an exponential amount of money when you go out to the restaurants. And then, of course, when we start looking at subscription services, this is one of the huge things. Gym memberships, streaming services, magazines, even looking at everything that we have. It is crazy that Americans are spending on average $207 a month. Again, thinking back to that scenario of that $300 that we're looking to make a millionaire, cutting back $207 a month. And I know we're not going to cut all the subscriptions, but let's say we cut out half of them. If I went ahead and cut cable at $189, $100 out of the subscription, that almost puts me at that $300 level, which is what we're looking for to be a millionaire. Now, of course, when it really comes to being a millionaire, you have to know the reason behind it. Now, of course, me, modern day millionaire, and the way that I break this down is we purchased our house for around $300,000 10 years ago. Right now, the value is $575,000. That is right. We have made $275,000 of equity in 10 years. And even looking at that additional in equity, we also paid $125,000 of that price tag off, which means it's kind of incredible to think. But yeah, we have about, I think it's around like $400,000 in equity in the house. That's what they're telling me from a couple different places. So looking at the value, what we owe, we have about $400K there. Now, of course, over the last 10 years, like I said, we've been putting away 15%. I have well over $250,000, almost $300,000 in a 401k plan, which is awesome. My wife, I know, has substantially more than that because of a higher contribution limit, which means we have well over probably $650,000 within that plan itself. Then, of course, we have the individual brokerage account, which is about $120,000 right there. Stock options, right about another $100,000 right there. We have $30,000 in vehicles, $50,000 here. HSA accounts, just putting in different numbers in different places. When you think of a modern day millionaire and getting to that $1 million mark, it's not as difficult as you think when you start adding out the numbers. And of course, when you look big picture, this is the reason how I became a millionaire. Is the big thing is we don't have debt. That is right. We have a monthly mortgage payment. That's it. That is really it. Everything else, I know we have the little bills, you have your electricity, your water, your garbage, all of these little bills. But when it comes to really the big picture of what you owe in life, we don't have home equities, unsecured loans, credit card debt, car loans. We don't have anything. We're even to the point where we have money in the bank enough that if we are looking to buy a new car, when we go to buy a new car, we are just going to pay cash for it. There's not going to be any loans. There's not going to be any debt. We're not going to be feeding any additional money into the financial institutions because we are going to pay cash for it, just like we do Dave Ramsey style. And of course, if you're not familiar, investing is the number one way in the world that people build wealth. As much as we like to see entrepreneurship really build wealth, when it comes to true wealth generation for the average American, it is about saving money over an extended amount of time. There's no get rich quick scheme. There's nothing flashy about it, nothing shiny. A lot of people even say my investment portfolio with my 3 ETFs is super boring, which is exactly how I want it because I can keep funneling money into it. And guess what? It is going to grow on average about 10 to 12%. And I am happy with the growth factor that I'm seeing again over an extended amount of time. Now, if you don't have experience with investing, always look for a professional. I cannot stress this enough. if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort to know exactly what you're investing in, what it looks like building a portfolio like I have. I have spent probably literally the last 5 to 7 years working with a lot of different investment advisors, working in the financial industry, and also spending a exorbitant amount of time learning personal knowledge in really the financial sector and also financial literacy. Like I said earlier, I am a financial counselor, which of course plays into it because there's a ton of things that do come with that. And the final one for this is really just put it on automation. When you want to be a millionaire, it is going to be time. It is going to be the compounding aspect. And I cannot even imagine what kind of balances we're going to have in not only the brokerage accounts, but the 401k accounts and everything else with the contributions over the next 5 to 10 years. In addition, with the compounding interest over those next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be kind of incredible to see exactly where they're going to become. Again, guys, that is how to become a millionaire and how I became a millionaire, which was a majority of just really eliminating that debt, giving me the power to invest all of the money that would be outspoken for with car payments, everything else. I have the money to invest and I have the will to invest. And I do love the investment strategy. So all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.